Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. You're not going to believe this. So as white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. This is what former teacher turned influencer, that's who she is, former teacher turned influencer, infantilizes the white women for Kamala Harris and suggests that white women should never correct black women. You think I'm kidding? Watch this.
Ariel Fodor, affectionately known as Mrs. Frazzle, to her combined audience of over 1.5 million followers, is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season.
First of all, the way she ends this election season, like she's 13 years old.
A constant question.
Did she stop teaching? What grade was it? Was it a PhD course at probably a university?
So she says,
32-year-olds I teach?
She says BIPOC. Now that stands for, what does that stand for again?
Black Indigenous People of Color.
Black Indigenous People of Color. Okay. All right, here we go.
Correct you as a woman.
Here we go.
Ariel Fodor, affectionately known as Mrs. Frazzle, to her combined audience of over 1.5 million followers, is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a real.
What does that mean? BIPOC women have topped us in? Is that what she said?
Tapped us in.
Tapped?
The BIPOC women, the Black and Indigenous women of America, because of Kamala, it's an emergency. We got to get Kamala in. They've tapped in the white women. We didn't want to come to you, white women, but now it's time to come together.
Okay.
And I'm shaking. I'm like shaking because I'm so lucky to be around so many cat mamalas.
Here we go.
Childless cat mamalas.
Does this make you proud to be a woman?
I'm really excited to watch more of this because it's so fun that women can sound so dumb and ill-informed. I mean, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, really, do we have to separate our culture even further?
Are you a BIPOC?
I'm not.
You're a person of color.
I'm a person of color.
You're
so
indigenous.
I'm a person of color, so I'm a POC.
You're an IPOC.
No, you're BIPOC. That's better.
I own it. The white girl in the room just told me to own it. Thank you, Misha.
I just realized that Drew Barrymore actually has a lot of dignity.
So, Misha, this makes you proud to be a woman, doesn't it? A white woman. Yes. Here we go.
Important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good. No matter who you are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it. And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too.
Oh, no.
So first, don't isolate yourself. We can do our best work when we're in community together like we are tonight, because the toxic feels smaller when we support each other. But don't make it about yourself. As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat.
God forbid.
If you find so there is nothing, I think that is one of the most racist, infantilizing things I've heard in quite a while. If you find yourself talking over or, God forbid, correcting a Black Indigenous person of color, stop.
Just take a beat, Jimmy. Please, take a beat. You're about to correct.
Why are they?
BIPOC.
are black indigenous people of color so fragile that if you disagree with them or think they have something wrong and you tell them, they're going to crumble? Are they that fragile? Are you
No,
infantilizing
they're
them?
right. They're that right.
What's that?
They're always that right.
And then
So I want you to take the space in your heart for Jesus and replace it with BIPOC women.
So this is the same.
And think of them that way.
This is the same thing people do with gay people, right? That gay people are somehow just inherently better people and more moral because they have sex with
Because they can't find the right hole. Yeah, that's right. She sounds like the toxicity coming from them. I thought she was going to say once a month when they get their pyramid.
So let's listen.
If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat.
God forbid correcting. So I've got to. Misha, I just want you. You're never allowed to correct. God forbid you correct Steph, even if she's wrong.
I don't let her, and I definitely don't let Misha talk over me.
Ever.
Ever.
God forbid.
Yeah.
If you're at Starbucks and they write your name Miska, God forbid.
So when I'm watching this, so then she just automatically, she judges the person by the color of their skin.
Yes.
Where have you guys been that you don't know this is how it's supposed to work? Now, by the way, everyone's over this in a big way. That's what I'm saying. And I hate Trump going at stupid identity shit. But this nonsense she's saying, me and Kyle do those Pussies characters, and I almost feel like it's a stale thing because people are way over it. None of these people seem to be aware of that. They all are like, we're on the same page, that you literally don't even correct.
God forbid.
BIPOC, queer of color. Like, they still think like that.
So let me play it again.
She doesn't have 1.5 million followers, by the way. There's no way.
Over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots. You are responsible for your algorithm, believe it or not.
Uncut
Ariel
jobs.
Kodar, affectionately known as.
I would say you are probably legally blind. That's how bad your blind spots are.
Can I say, Jimmy, and I want you to put on your listening ears for this. Take off your deaf ears and put on your listening ears.
Put on your listening ears.
Because I happen to be wearing my correcting a dingbat mouth right now. They keep calling your rights your privileges. The right to campaign for whoever you want, even a moron like Kamala, that's not your privilege. As any lady, a white lady or otherwise, this thing where they keep calling your basic rights, like saying what free speech, name it, it's a right. It's not a privilege. And they have spent 10 years trying to reframe stuff you're just supposed to get from being here as a privilege. And it's like this subtle thing they do, and only morons go for it. There's no way 1.5 million people organically follow this idiot. There's just not a chance in hell. I promise you, those are bought followers. This is another kind of politics girl, Midas touch bullshit thing. There's no way she's that popular in real life.
I'm gonna play that through one more time without stopping and just see if you can absorb it.
Ariel Kodar, affectionately known as Mrs. Frazzle to her combined audience of over 1.5 million followers, is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
What does that mean, Mrs. Frazzle?
I think
this is Frazzle. She's frazzled from all the teaching she did of kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
And she later left that job to become an influencer. Don't believe it. Okay, no teacher has that much influence. Number one, people don't respect
Kurt,
teachers.
we're
like
all
that.
influencers. You all can influence on, and you're also responsible for your own algorithm.
Yeah, but Miss Fraz. Oh, I'm so frazzled. This is like that cartoon strip, Kathy, where she's like, like her whole thing is that personality.
Okay.
But you see Megan Rapinoe, the other unpopular soccer player, like all these kind of people and this whole DEI bullshit, it's very unpopular now. And the last of the people that think it's still a thing are in major cities or people that read The Atlantic. I don't believe that's 1.5 million people for 2 seconds. even if you're like that, you're not going to watch this dingbat.
Okay, let's watch.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a really important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good. No matter who you are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it. And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too.
What?
So first, don't isolate yourself. We can do our best work when we're in community together like we are tonight, because the toxic feels smaller when we support each other. But don't make it about yourself. As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots. You are responsible for your algorithm, believe it or not.
That's a lot to get
You're lucky
through.
I don't have my pimp hand on.
That's a lot to get through. That there's.
I was always against pimps until you hear this for a while, and a BIPOC man with his pimp hand on could fix this real quick. She couldn't correct him. She wouldn't be allowed to correct him.
I gotta find a video. Hang on. Go to Steph. Read some super chats. Let me find a video.
I'm still stunned. I'm stunned by this video. I'm sorry, but I'm so tired of acronyms. I'm so tired. It seems like the last 3 years we get all these stupid shit acronyms. BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and that she's going to tell us to put our listening ears on.
Put your listening ears on. You know, as opposed.
How about my seeing eyes on?
Put your seeing eyes on and your mouth talkings.
Dude, I'm going to put on my jerkin penis and watch the.
Okay, back to Jimmy.
So
she's a construct like Greta Thunberg, 100%. I'm looking it up. Everything we know about Ariel Fodor, a.k.a. Miss Frazzled on TikTok. This is from July 30th, 2024. This is like fake. She's fake. They don't have this kind of support. And all the polls about Kamala surging, she is not surging, I promise.
There's no
you.
way that woman has more subscribers than I do on YouTube. Okay? So
I found a thing where she's talking about how they're going to confiscate your stove. Yes. Dude, look her up.
So this makes me
complete Midas touch. Midas touch.
Yeah, she's completely manufactured, just like Greta Thunberg. And so what? This reminds me of what James Carville said. James Carville, the poobah of Democratic political strategists and the advisor to the Clintons. Here we go. Watch what he said.
I think Democratic culture has too many preachy females. It's too much. Don't eat hamburgers. Don't watch football. All right, wear a condom. Like, man, shit, leave me alone. You okay?
Did he say wear a
goddamn
condom?
life to lead. You know, guy works at a tire repair shop in suburban Atlanta. You had motherfuckers working 50 hours a week. You know, making $16.50 an hour, and he wants to watch the football game. He wants to smoke dope and drink beer, and then everybody's telling him he's slothful, and they reject that shit. And you know, I just think some of it is cosmopolitan condensation, if you will. Like you need to lead the kind of life we lead, not the kind of life you lead.
So too many preachy women. Ironically, he's saying that in a pink T-shirt. Anyway, go ahead.
Is he my mamala now?
Yeah. All right.
Are you my mamala?
Hey, in today's economic environment, the stress of providing for a family and yourself can sometimes be overwhelming, and putting everyday expenses on credit cards only elevates that stress. You have to find a way out of that never-ending cycle. Well, I have an answer for you. You need to call my friends at American Financing. They are helping people just like you turn things around by using the equity in their homes to pay off that high-interest debt. They understand what you're going through. They talk to people in your position every day. American Financing is saving their borrowers an average of $854 a month. $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise at work. And they are closing some in as little as 10 days. And if you start today, you may not have to make next month's mortgage payment. So there's no better time than now to turn your situation around. Call today, 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Jimmy. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.